We're still in that season where, we're inching ever so closer to the May 29th day that everybody is expecting. The elections have been concluded, the winner having been declared, and there are losers. But as you know, there are matters arising, and I'd like to talk about some of those matters this morning with our guest, Dr. Umar Ardo. Dr. Ardo is the, it's over now, I think, but it is the, I was going to say, is the governorship candidate in Adamawa State. A fine morning to you, Dr. Ardo.
Morning.
Yes, thank you very much. As I was saying, the elections have come and gone, and generally you know that there still are some issues that have to be attended to, and that is as is to be expected. In fact, channels were actually laid for that. Should anybody have any issue with the election, there are a number of avenues with which to explore whatever your dissension is. But in recent times, we've heard about this, quite frankly, stupendous call we hear, going by what the DSS was telling us, that there are those who are calling for an interim national arrangement of some sort. We have heard that that is totally unknown to law, but give me your thoughts, sir, on the whole notion at this stage where in the past 3-4 days, Nigeria was surprised by this call and the action of some people going to, I believe it was defense headquarters, to go and protest and indeed entreat the military to intervene. Your thoughts, sir?
Okay. Thank you very much for having me on this show. Now, the issue of elections have come and gone. Yes, they have come and gone, except in my state. In my state, the election is still on. It is inconclusive, and it's going to be concluded in the next couple of weeks. That's by the 15th of next month. So, basically, there are 3 positions. I will answer your question, but let me put this in for my state first. Basically, there are 3 positions in Adamawa State. The first position is that of the PDP, which is saying that the election, the inconclusive election, should just be continued and the rerun be done in the remaining polling units that have not been conducted or that were cancelled. Now, which is having a margin of 37,000 registered voters. And as it is, INEC said PDP is leading with 31,000 votes. So PDP is obviously going to take this position because it is in its favor. The 37,000 registered voters, we don't know how many have collected their PVCs, and among those that collected their PVCs, we don't know how many will come out to vote. But if the voter turnout in the last election is anything to go by, less than 50% of the remaining 37 will come out to vote, which makes that PDP automatically wins the election. So it has this position that the rerun should continue. Then there is the second position, which is that of the APC. The APC governorship candidate is saying that they should review the elections in 16 local governments in the state. Now, 16 local governments in the state is more than 2/3 of the local governments in Adamawa State, because we have 21 in the state. So there's only remaining 5. So she would want these local governments to be reviewed with a view to maybe getting the elections in many local government areas cancelled, and so would likely put her, to a victory. Then the third one is that of the SDP, which is myself, and my position is that the entire thing should be reviewed. If we are going to review it, let us review the entire thing, because both the PDP and the APC were involved in the same issue, in the same election malpractice. There are 2 things that took place in Adamawa State. In the towns and local government headquarters, there was massive vote buying. And in the villages, there were rigging vote allocations, where those who held sway will now allocate votes depending on how strong they are in those various areas. So people like us that are not strong, and are not even inclined to go into rigging episodes, we just became spectators ourselves, and the electorate, mass electorates became spectators. So these are the three positions in Adamawa State today. We are waiting for the 15th of next month for the INEC to conduct the rerun, and then whosoever wins, let's move forward. I am under intensive pressure from people that we should go to tribunal and so on. We have not actually made up our minds whether or not we are going to tribunal, but the facts are there, are very glaring. In vote buying and in rigging, that is the malfunctioning or even the bypassing of the beavers, the stuffing of ballot papers, the allocation of results. That's why you have multiple result sheets and so on and so forth. But I have come a long way in these things. I have gone to court 11 times, and I have written a book, Court and Politics. This is the book, Court and Politics, in which I have chronicled my experience in Nigeria, in the politics and courts in Nigeria. So I don't know whether I would really want to go into any court issue on this election. Whatever it is, let us move on. Having said that, let me answer your question with regards to those who call for interim national government. First and foremost, this interim national government as a concept is alien to our constitution. It shouldn't even be contemplated, because it will not be based on law. And anything that is not based on law, it should not be part and parcel of our democratic process. And besides, the issue of contesting elections results is not new. From 1965, I'm a historian, I know what happened in 1965. The elections were disputed, and I can't remember whether they went to tribunal or that or not, but there was serious issues of swearing a new government, where the president was to swear in the government, not to swear in the government, and at the end of the day, a new government was sworn in, the prime minister was done, and a few weeks or so later, there was a military coup. Then in 1979, there was also a dispute on the election. There is a video clip going around lately where late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and Waziri Ibrahim, the three political parties, sat down and disputed and rejected, in fact, in its entirety, they said, the results of FEDECO in pronouncing Shehu Shagari as president-elect. They said they were going to tribunal. At the same time, they also called on the Supreme Military Council to annul the election, to change the game, and then constitute a new FEDECO to conduct new elections. So, and in 1983, there was also a dispute on the election. In 1991, in the primaries of the IBB regime, there were disputes, which led to cancellation, annulling of elections, and so in 1999, there was, 1999, when Obasanjo was elected, there was no serious dispute, I suppose, but by 2003, there was dispute. President Buhari, who contested under ANPP, rejected the result, went to tribunal and lost. Then in 2007, again, President Buhari disputed it, rejected the results, and went to tribunal and lost. And in 2011, the same President Buhari again rejected. This time it was his party, the CPC, rejected, went to tribunal and lost. And in 2015, it's the only election where that we have entered a new era in our national politics. Unfortunately, in 2019, we went back to the old days where the election was again disputed and PDP, Atiku went to tribunal. And now again, in 2023, we've gone back in an even worse situation where the two political parties, key political parties, rejected the results, have gone to tribunal, and then the new strange attitude of saying those who are the presidential candidate, those who are the president-elect, go for interim national government is despicable. I don't think we should go back to that. Nigeria must move forward. For me, I have consented, with the elections, the way they come out. Let us go ahead and swear in the president, the vice president, and those who have gone to tribunal. Let the due process of law take its course. This is the way for democratic process, to develop. But to call for an interim national government, which is strange to the constitution, is appalling, to say the least.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for that correction at the beginning that in Adamawa, the elections will be concluded in a couple of weeks or so. Thank you very much for that. Now, the other thing is that you said, from your experience, since you were on ground there, there were malpractices. You mentioned vote buying, and also, but I was going to ask you, don't forget that was the time when the country was strapped for money, allegedly, preventing that very thing was supposed to be part of it. And also, the beavers, which you said malfunctioned in cases, it was supposed to really work against this kind of voting, this kind of untoward voting that we spoke about. So it seems that from what you're saying, there was a collapse of those two ideas. One, that beavers would make a difference, and two, there wasn't any money. Well, let's just say that. The whole country was starved of money. Yes. So, nevertheless, you on the ground, you said these were your observations. How did that play out? It wasn't supposed to play out.
Well, it wasn't, but it did. Those who plan to do malfunctions in elections, they plan it. They got money. Don't forget, the APC and PDP are in control of state treasuries. The APC is controlling the federal treasury. The president of the country came out in a national broadcast addressing the Adamawa people in Hausa that they should all go and vote, for the APC candidate, which is okay. But the fallout of this address by the president was very, very saddening, because it tilted the entire federal agencies towards the APC candidate. And the APC candidate became like the lady of the manor. All the federal agencies were virtually at her beck and call. The INEC leadership, we know for a fact that she met with INEC officials 4 times, and that many of those INEC postings were done, in consultations with her. Then we also know that the police, and the security agencies are tilted all through with her. And one small call brought the entire military, the entire police to a house that was said to be doing ballot box, or is it vote thumb printing and so on. And when they went there, it turned out, to be false. So, but the military and the police were quick, and the ATSS were quick to adhere to calls and got themselves there. Then also the NBC, the Nigeria Broadcasting Corporation, many of us could not say a lot of things or do a lot of things or use the media in the state the way we were supposed to use, because one way or the other they will tell us that this bridges the NBC code, that bridges the NBC code. But you could see that the APC candidate was having a field day in getting her things done in the television stations and in the radio stations. So that announcement, that broadcast by the president, tilted the agencies and all the federal agencies, towards her, and that by itself did not give a fair election or a level playing ground for all of us or for some of us. But the state government, the PDP, controls the state government, controls the treasury. A week or so before the election, we got it on good record that over $1.5 billion was withdrawn, from local government treasuries and came under the control of the state. Somehow you said there was no money, but the money was there and the money was new. So it is only us that didn't have the money. So this policy actually worked well for APC, and because the state government controlled the treasury of the state, it also worked well for them. And the machinery of state worked for the PDP. It is those of us, the SDP, who the masses as in support of, that we are left, as onlookers. So
that
this is it. And
so the SDP, you are saying that your party, the SDP,
yes, that is the SDP,
was left more.
Yes,
but
the SDP.
The name INEC includes the word Independent National Electoral Commission. That is to say that, they, like, nobody can touch them. They're independent. They don't have to ask anybody's permission so far as they follow the act establishing them. But what you said, seems to...
Independent from whom? Independent from whom? Because if you look at the Constitution, the INEC is under the executive body. So INEC cannot claim independence. Besides, the appointment of INEC chairman and all its leadership is done by the president, on the advice of National Council of States, and then approved by the Senate. This is just a procedure, but even ministers are appointed and confirmed by the Senate. So this is just a procedure, but actually the issue of being independent is out of the question. And besides, the one issue, INEC gave the contract to the APC candidate to print result sheets for governorship result sheets. And when I raised this matter with the INEC leadership, it said that it did not include Adamawa. But of course, even if it didn't include Adamawa, it has given the candidate an insight into the workings of INEC's sensitive materials. 1. 2, it has also given, INEC by itself gave advantage, financial advantage, to the candidate, over and above her opponents. So by so doing, it tells that INEC has tilted, towards the APC candidate. So not putting Adamawa among the list of those states that whose result sheets were printed by her, it didn't really matter much. What is important is that she has an insight into the workings of INEC, into the production of INEC's sensitive materials, and she has been given financial advantage by INEC itself, which is supposed to be independent and an umpire to all of us.
Exactly, because when you said independent from whom, I was thinking at the time, I thought that independence from external influence was the concept that most people have. But again, these are your observations and that you are putting through. I am not in a position to speak for INEC, but when the response about independent from whom shows that you actually don't buy the fact that INEC is free from external intervention in any way, shape, or form. That's your position.
External, if the executive is external, then INEC is not independent because it gets its money from the executive. It is being appointed by the executive. It is in the Constitution put under the executive list. So independent from whom? And the election is, the INEC is to conduct election for both the executive and the legislature.
Yes,
so
but they don't take instructions from anybody.
As the executive is concerned, it can take instruction from the executive because the executive appoints it, because the executive pays its bills, because the executive gives it its money, because under the Constitution it is under the executive control, under the executive list. So it will take orders from the executive absolutely. The word independent is just it's just a name. It's just a phrase put there, but independence, I don't see how independent INEC, is. It could be independent by the act of the leadership, but in practice it can be independent. But is it? In theory, it is actually not independent. In theory, it is not independent because it is under the Constitution, by the Constitution, it's under the executive list. Okay,
then. I'll leave it at that, just in case you want to pursue this later. But thank you very much for giving us that insight, your insight. There's something else in passing. You are of the SDP. I heard, and I'm
sorry,
want to find
out. I can't hear you. I didn't hear you.
Dear. Oh dear. I'm sure it's a network thing. It's a network thing, and can you hear us now? Can you? Okay. Oh dear. Okay, you can hear now.
Hello.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you saying hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you now.
Okay. I was going to ask you that. As a politician, you're of the SDP stock. And I heard, and I'm looking for confirmation or rebuttal from you, that you and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar are relatives. So if that is true, first of all, then there's a sort of a diversity of opinion within the family because you didn't go with PDP, neither did he go with SDP. First of all, that whole, that whole matter about, are you indeed relatives with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar?
Blood brothers, no, but family, yes.
I see. And so that's the way it is. I mean, there's so many, there can be various political persuasions all within the family, and everybody pursues his own particular inclination. It's almost like a non-point, but I just wanted to bring it up. It's not an issue, but I just wanted to know.
It's a non-point.
Yes, it's not blood relatives, but larger political family. I hear that there's someone on the phone now wanting to join us. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to your guest.
Okay, Dr.
Uncle
Umar
Yori, kindly give me say 90 seconds to say something on these matters arising from the elections.
Sure.
Those that are coming to call for military intervention or interim national government, they are saboteurs. They are not serious. They know that they are already in court. And I'm aware that their lawyers have already told them that they don't have a case. That's why they are coming out wanting to spoil it if they cannot have it. If you have taken your case to the court, we should wait for the court to make a pronouncement. Instead of doing that, you are saying the country should go in flames. They know that they don't have any chance in winning that. They don't have a case to win in the court. And I'm surprised that the DSS is just issuing warning. It's not warning we need. They should deal with them according to the law of this country. Somebody cannot come out and say the other person that won election will not be sworn in. And then he will not want the one who won election to react. It's the same thing that happened in Lagos. I tried to connect your program yesterday. I couldn't. Somebody came and said, this is no man's land. Then you expect the landowners not to react. Uncle Yori, wherever there is an action, there will always be a reaction. You can't hit my head. And then when I'm suffering pain, I hit you back. You now start crying. He has hit my head. He hit my nose in addition. When you were hitting my head, didn't you know that I will hit you back? So what is happening now is something that we need to generally address in this country. I want to use this opportunity to appeal to my friend, Reverend Dominic. There is no need coming to the public space to be waking up unnecessary sentiments. The elders from both sides have already intervened and said, okay, let bygone be bygone. We said, all right. And every day you come on air and start saying you were not allowed to vote. What's the meaning of that?
All right.
Mr. George. Reverend Dominic said that he is a member of the APC.
Mr. George.
And I suppose he voted in his ward. If you are voting in your ward, people should know you there. How would they not allow you to vote when they know you are a member of the ruling party in that place?
All right, then. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sure even Reverend Dominic himself might be hearing this, and it's likely that he might actually call in to try and explain himself a bit better. But as you know, Dr. Ardo, following from what George just spoke about, the DSS didn't tell us who indeed were these people who went to defense headquarters or wherever the venue was. They kept that information out of the release, so we don't really know who they are. We can only speculate, but no more than speculate. Everybody's sort of being very, very careful because it's a very grievous charge. Some have even gone as far as saying that it is treason. You have spoken earlier, you said that it's unknown to our law, this whole interim national arrangement. Well, in relation to that particular aspect that caller just brought up, that if they were behaving the way that has been reported, it was treasonous, and they were wondering why weren't they simply arrested, and brought to due process instead of telling us and then warning them. I don't know. Do you have any commentary on that, on how it went? That it's a grievous charge like that. It's being reported to us, the public, and they are not, arresting them.
Okay, well, DSS simply, heated up the system by coming out to say things that they cannot identify. It leaves the entire country speculating. And I saw somewhere that somebody is saying that DSS and the APC group, the president-elect's team, simply want to frame the Obi and Atiku. So you see the kind of things that these statements of DSS coming out with vague statements without identifying anybody, without being specific, you see what it is causing. Now, if this thing heats up again and pro-Obi and pro-Atiku, they go to the street, they say that there is a framework on the part of the DSS or on the part of the new regime that is coming in or the regime that is going out. They want to pick their principles, then the country is going to be in trouble. So if DSS really actually have something like that, or has something like that, it should come out and say that this is what you have done, this is who did it, and then we charge you to court. We arrest you, we charge you to court. Let the due process of law take its course. After all, we are living in a country governed by law. But for the DSS to come and just make speculative statements, it is simply heating up the system and allowing speculations and conjectures, to rule the polity. It is wrong for DSS to have done what it did. It has the powers empowered by law, to arrest them and to put them to trial. Why didn't they do that?
Okay. Yakub in Dokwemo, thank you very much for holding on. Please go ahead now.
Yeah, Yori, good morning, sir. I don't know, maybe you are hearing me, sir.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning to your guest.
Yes, Dr.
Please, I need to say this. Before I say something, let me just appeal to Mr. George and then Reverend Dominic. Both of them are my friends, and then they are also a friend of the house. So I will just with them, both of them, to take it calm.
All right, then.
So, because during the presidential election, when some people mentioned that Lagos is no man's land and all that, and then during the governorship election, the owner of the land has spoke, and then we spoke louder, and then not only the owner of the land spoke, even the people that come to Lagos to settle down, we spoke together. Because it is not only Yoruba vote for Babajide Sanwo-Olu, we all voted for him. That, by the way, we spoke, and then our spoke has been loud. That yes, Lagos is for Lagos. So Having said that, if you come to the people that are calling for interim government, and then they are trying to make sure that the actual Bola Tinubu is not going to be saying it comes to be 25 or something. They are just, it is a laughable thing. You know why? In the Yoruba dialect, they always say that why am I saying that? Election has been conducted and then it has been one square. Why? Because you know that you didn't have...
Well, that Yoruba proverb in there, roughly translating it, it means that the train has left the station. The train has left the station is what you said in Yoruba there.
Exactly. The train have already left the station, and then they are not saying that it will stop. And then you know that the train can easily stop. So, having said that, Chief Yori, you see, if they know, they really know that they have a case, and then they have already go to court, why can't they wait for the court to give the judgment? And then I'm very sure, and then the DSS, they are not even helping the station. And then I have my reason saying that. If you know that there is a people behind all these things, you don't need to tell Nigerian citizens. Go along, go for them, pick them up. Investigate investigate them and put them wherever they belong to. You don't need to come out and telling Nigerian citizens that some people are trying to change their people to make sure that the president-elect was also. We don't need beginning to pick them one by. We don't want to know who's behind. Because there's nobody above the law of the country. If you think that you are above the law of the country, the DSS, they should do the needful and pick them up. We don't want to hear.
Okay. All right, Yakub. Thank you very much for calling in. And at this stage, Dr. Umar Ado, we're going to take a short break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
Our planet, our home, threatened by man's activities with fears of mass extinction on the rise. On Green Angle, we examine the issues that affect our environment, seek solutions to put us on track to secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
The National Assembly is a busy place. As the bastion of democracy, it is a place where bills are presented, motions debated, laws made, and the yearnings of the people are laid bare. Come with us as we take you through the workings of the National Assembly. We take you through plenary, committee meetings, and probes, all to ensure smooth working of the democratic process.
Welcome back. Our guest is Dr. Umar Ado. He is the SDP governorship candidate in Adamawa State. That election is yet to be concluded. INEC is scheduled to complete work on that election in another fortnight or so, as we've just been advised. So Dr. Umar Ado, just looking at the climate, the general political climate, I don't know, how would you characterize it? Because there are many who are saying that we should be, you yourself have said it in a positive sense, that we need to get on with our lives and sort all these things out. Many are believing that you yourself have just said you are yet to make up your mind whether or not to approach the tribunal. But what would be your comment? Who are saying the election won and it has been lost, and all these sounds and fury that there won't be a proper inauguration on the 29th. Give me your thoughts on all of that, please.
It's cutting.
Okay, you didn't hear. I wanted you to give me your thoughts, please, on all of the agitations that we're hearing from limited quarters that the inauguration, the handover wouldn't take place. All of that, we talked about heating up the polity. All of that is also heating up the polity. People making categories that they won election, which cannot be admissible in truth or in law, because that is indeed not the case. They're in courts to try to prove their position. But it hasn't been done yet. The courts haven't pronounced yet. Yet the heat up continues. How dangerous do you think this is to the polity?
Fact is that elections have been conducted under law and have been won and lost under law. We are people that, we are a nation governed by law. So what the law has prescribed has taken place. The remaining is the process of concluding the election through the courts. And there are winners and there are losers. Those who have lost are contending their losses. They have the tribunals to approach. They have approached the tribunal. There is going to be swearing in, and there should be swearing in, because there is no alternative to swearing in. I can remember in 2007 when there was this uproar on the elections of 2007, President Obasanjo then said that we should not throw away the baby with the bathwater, that we must swear in the president-elect. And the president-elect was sworn in. And the first sentence of President Yaradua then, in his acceptance speech, was on the issue of the election itself and constituting the Justice West Committee to review election and election procedures in the country. Now what we need to do is to wash the baby with clean water. There is an election, there is a winner, there is going to be a swearing in, and there has to be continuity in government, because there cannot be vacuum. So indeed, I support the position of the law. I support the swearing in of the president-elect and the governors-elect, and those states where they have not concluded the election ought to be concluded, and let victors, come out, let losers, come, and those who oppose it, they should, go to courts. So indeed, this is my position. Anything short of that is trying to destroy the democratic process, and by so doing, destroy our country. We will not support that. I personally cannot support that.
Thank you. Mr. Joshua in Irewolede, thank you very much for holding on for such a long while. Good morning to you, sir.
Okay. Yori, thank you so much. You are doing so much for us, and we have to do so much for you. So I would take the credit for Nigeria. Uncle Yori, the politicians, I greet the Adamawa governorship candidate for ADC. Politicians will understand that their name is partisan. Partisan. They always talk about what favors them. You lose an election, you start calling that the roof should come down. You don't even understand democracy. Partisan. You have a party. The other one has a party. If you are not interested in playing the game, you go out. This matter, we have to be very understanding and treat to the matter on Yori. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, he was to the president and to the Chief Justice of Nigeria and say, if you do this, that is he a dictator? Is he a military head of state? That was a bit too far. Oguyori calling, if you swaying this man. I mean, I was looking at this man. You were supposed to be a statesperson, a statesman. You are a very vice presidential candidate that could have won the election. And I'm looking at myself as a Nigerian. If I'm speaking to him that way, that was too far, Yori. Our politicians should temper mercy with justice. Like, calm down. This is a nation. 4 years' time, another election will happen. And then they will just be shouting, this president, sorry, not to take your time, this president-elect has a lot to do. See, this demonetizing politics is a very important thing. Our political offices are too attractive. Like you are winning a jackpot.
Yeah.
If you win an election, are you not supposed to go and serve people? So this desperation is too much, Uncle Yori, and it should be about Nigeria and the interest of Nigeria. Not somebody saying because I've lost an election, all of you must go and die.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua, for calling in. Appreciate your call. Maybe I could ask you, in relation to that, Dr. Umar Ardo, your thoughts on our attitude to elections, political elections. It's become something of a do-or-die affair, and people don't seem to approach these elections that we're having nowadays with the attitude of there's no election where two winners will emerge for any one position, and so people have to be prepared. But the way we see the bitterness in a fair bit about our whole attitude to the office that we are seeking, if after all it is to go and serve, you want to serve. If one were to juxtapose that idea with the behavior of politicians, one is going to be left scratching one's head. Is this, I know you're a historian, Dr. Ardo, so you know of many examples of this kind of a thing. What is going on here? Why have the elections become virtual do-or-die affair? And it's very rare to get what we got with Dr. Jonathan and President Buhari, where the person who was to be handing over congratulated the winner. What is it us, or is it an African thing?
No. Well, even if it is an African thing, President Jonathan proved himself to be different. It is only President Jonathan in the history of this country who has accepted defeat with equanimity and congratulated his opponent. Only President Jonathan did that at the presidential level. Maybe one or two at the governorship levels, but I have not seen any other person. President Buhari has never accepted defeat. All these while he has never once accepted defeat. The 3 elections that he went into, he was defeated, but he never accepted defeat. He went to court, he went to tribunals, and so on and so forth. So it is only when he wins, then he accepts, that election was conducted free and fair. But where he loses, he never accepted. This is a fact. It is not a conjecture. So now the reason is this. Politicians have virtually, personalized, public offices. Those offices that you contest to occupy, you personalize them. The governor personalizes everything in the state. The public funds become the personal property of the governor. The public vehicles become the personal property of the governor. The public servants become the personal, servants of the governor. So because
and that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Syndrome of winner takes all. That is not how it's supposed to be. You are supposed to go there and serve. You are supposed not to even have any influence on who gets what. You are supposed to, like the executive. What is the executive? You are to go and execute the law. You are not to go and make the law. You are not to bend the law. And you have sworn with the Bible or with the Quran in your hand that you are going to execute the law according to the Constitution as stipulated. But when you go in there, it's another matter altogether. So, and also the syndrome of winner takes all. Once you are the governor, everything is yours. It is what you want that you do. It is how you want it done that it will be done. If you are the president, it is so. So this is the reason why people become so desperate and take it as a matter of life and death to put in, to take over public office. And also because of the perquisites of office. 1, the pomp and pageantry of power. 2, the wealth that it accumulates. If you look at the wealthy people in this country and the politicians in this country, their progress, material progress, vis-a-vis the communities they serve, you will see the difference is as wide as the heaven and the earth. You will see our communities. I have gone through each and every local government in Adamawa State. I have met with virtually all segments of society in the state. I've met with the women, I've met with the youth, I've met with the elders, I've met with the all sets, student union and the disabled and so on and so forth. If you see the level of poverty in our state, in fact, Adamawa State, and that goes for virtually all parts of the country and especially northern Nigeria, we have gone beyond state of poverty to state of destitution. Our people have become destitute. But look at the politicians, look at the public office holders. They have become increasingly wealthy. They are the wealthiest people in town. They control all the wealth and all the means of production in the community, and then the community is languishing in poverty, in need, it's
an inversion of the democratic values that they pursued to get into office. But Doctor, let me quickly bring in Teslim. Teslim has called in from Lagos. Good morning, Teslim.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling.
And good morning to the guests.
Yes, Dr. Umar Ado.
I just want to quickly contribute to the discussion on ground.
Sure.
So, quickly, the issue of DSS, and I heard people have been saying that DSS just go ahead and arrest those involved in these statements of
the interim national affair.
The interim national, the interim government. So I just want to say that it might reach political undertone. If DSS just goes ahead to arrest, and we have, I'm very sure it will be this the big wigs in this political, the politician, the big wigs. So if they go ahead and arrest, it will seem like the ruling party is threatening or is trying to use the political instrument, the government instrument, to intimidate. So they need to let's just leave the DSS to do whatever they want to do. It's their job. If they know what they want to do. So let us leave them to do whatever they want to do. First, I'm very sure if they just take, for instance, if you have darkness in a place and you put light in that darkness, it disappears. So it might just be a kind of a method, to just send signal, to just send, information, or let me say alert to those who are trying to perpetrate this evil. You understand that? See, we are watching, and if you go ahead to do this thing, this is what we do. So if I thought the DSS later even go ahead to make arrest, the Nigerians will see that, yes, they had come out to say this, and after that, this is the reason why they are going ahead to do this. But they don't go ahead to just make arrest. It will feel some people will feel like, no, this is an intimidation.
All right. Okay, Teslim. Thank you very much for calling in with your idea as to what might have led, because it's a commentary a lot of people have made that why is the DSS telling us instead of acting? And indeed, what you have just said, a lot of people have also theorized that it might be, the erring on the side of caution, whereas some would say that this is a crime against the state, if indeed it is defined, if it is treason, so defined. But we've been hearing, and we've also heard from Dr. Umar Ado this morning on the whole matter, on that whole. He's given us his perspective, his viewpoint. Dr. Ado, before these other matters came in, you were explaining how the Nigerian politician largely, does everything, on the democratic path to get into office because it is the only way he can get into office. But then after that, as you sort of illustrated, there's a departure from democracy, seeing as now that they are in power, they're doing all the undemocratic things. You were explaining how the people continue to be as poor as they were, if not poorer, and people who come to office begin to, get wealthier and wealthier, and nobody can explain it. I don't know if it's a phase of our development as politicians. But Ellis in Jos, that he called in earlier, we lost that call. Ellis is now back. Good morning, Ellis in Jos.
Good morning, Mr. Folarin. Good morning.
Thank you for calling in and repeating the call. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. We are always following your program here in Jos, and we are highly educated and enlightened. But I just want to speak on this
yes.
GSS a lot. You know, in Nigeria, what people refuse to understand is that the way they call not play politics is different from the way the southeast, middle belt of Nigeria play their politics. So while people are calling for the DSS to do their work, that is, do their underground investigation, hold the people responsible, that is their work. It is like...
That's what the DSS is doing. What you're saying is that what you are saying is what the DSS is following. Seems to be what you're saying.
Okay. Yes. But going further, let whoever is trying to create mayhem politically be arrested, not, brainwashing the issue, not polishing the issue in suspense. That is my stand.
Okay. Indeed. Thank you very much for coming on the second time. Phoning in the second time, and what you've just said. There's a sense in which it sort of almost parallels what Dr. Ado has also said. That rather than heat up the polity, perhaps they could have gone about it in a different way. But here we are. We're almost at the end of our time for the program. Dr. Umar Ado, SDP governorship candidate in Adamawa State. You've complained that things didn't go as far as elections are supposed to. Things didn't go that way at all. I was surprised to hear when you said that the experiences that you've just recounted, BVAS and its challenges, money, vote buying, and you've also said in relation to a different aspect that, maybe you could just end on that. The Nigerian politician and how you don't, he's not usually known to be a sportsman, apart from President Jonathan, apart from former President Jonathan, who really was a sportsman in the sense that he conceded defeat and congratulated the winner. That isn't generally speaking the way we are, seems to be what you're saying. So it's a phase of our development. Maybe we'll come there as we continue on our journey of our political development.
Can I close with something? That is,
yes, please. Yes, please.
Have you noted that in this election, there was no fundraising by any political party or politician? No fundraising whatsoever. All the governors in their states, they never raised funds because they had the funds of the treasury under their control. At the national level, nobody raised funds. In my state, the APC governorship candidate in one day, distributed 90 vehicles. 90 vehicles. Even Aliko Dangote, the richest man in Africa, cannot just dash 90 vehicles in a day. So now if you can dash 90 vehicles and then you put in hundreds of thousands of other things and nobody spend less than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 billion, which is against even the provision of the law that a governorship finance should not go beyond $1 billion. Yet these things happen without any fundraising. That tells you one thing. It tells you that state treasury is being used in conducting the personal affairs of candidates who control those treasuries. And how can people not go to public offices with the sole objective, of looting public funds? So that is why our politicians have taken the act of...
Thank you very much, Dr. Umar Ado, SDP governorship candidate in Adamawa State. Thank you very much for making time for us this morning. We're going to have to leave it there. I really appreciate your time this morning, Dr. Ado. That's our program. Join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
It is time for us to leave this place.
One of your earrings is missing.
We'll find it.
I'm not willing to take that chance.